Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff St Laurent. This is the Tuesday Live Show, and I am excited to bring on my guest in just a minute, one of my great coaching clients, my mentor coaching clients, LaTonya Porter. Before we bring her on, I want to let you know I do record all these live shows, and I put them on my website under the university at sellingcoaching.com. So please go ahead and check that out. I've got a lot of great resources there for you. Also, right on the homepage of sellingcoaching.com, I have a great resource called the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches. So you can enter your name and email there, and it's going to get you it's an audio resource and PDF for you. And that's also going to put you into my email community. So I can give you some great information on a weekly basis. And you can also start to see how I utilize that to stay in touch with my community, because that's an important part of what you do. And now I want to just jump right through that because LaTonya, welcome to the Tuesday Live Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, I am too. So let's take everyone back because, your journey, while it's just beginning, you've also gone through a long journey in terms of your business and also just your world in general, right?
Yes.
And fast forward to now where I have a signed copy, mind you, of your book that's out. And we're going to get into all that. So we're going to let everyone know about that. But let's talk about you for a minute, because I want people to kind of know you, the person, because when you came to me, how about this? When you came to me, give people an idea of kind of where you were with your coaching business.
Okay. So
what you were challenged with, all that good stuff.
So when I came to you, at the time I was in grief counseling, and I was in grief counseling because my boyfriend had died. So I was dealing with the grief of his sudden death. On top of dealing with the grief of his sudden death, I was also dealing with being a single mom, because just 2 months after, 2 months before he died, I gave birth to our twin baby girls. So that added, of course, an element to the grieving process in itself. I didn't return to work after I gave birth to the twins. That was an agreed thing with my boyfriend and I. But of course, my sole provider is now gone. So I was on a very limited and fixed income of Social Security survivor benefits for the girls. And then if things couldn't get any worse, I found out that the cause of his death was an incurable genetic heart disorder. So personally, I just felt like I was a shattered mess. I decided, kind of through grief counseling, I've been in grief counseling for 6 months at that point. And I decided through grief counseling that I didn't want to return to like the corporate world, clerical, anything like that. I wanted to be able to stay home and have a business I could do at home. And I started in network marketing. By the time I came to you, I said, well, maybe what I should do was kind of build a coaching brand, and it would help this network marketing kind of take off for me. So when I came to you, I don't know if you remember, but I was working with a coach already, and I was so frustrated. I think I cried on our first call because I was just so frustrated with working with this coach and not being able to get anywhere. I was determined to have a business and, be successful and leave a legacy for my girls and even my boys. I have older kids too. But that determination wasn't manifesting anything. So when I came to you, my business wasn't going well. Personal life felt like it was in shambles. So I definitely came to you a hot mess.
And for people watching this, like, we just got real quick. I mean, and I know LaTonya and I know her story. And, she starts off and she's like, all right, so my boyfriend died. And 2 months later, I gave birth to our kids, basically. And it's just like, you've obviously done a lot of work on yourself to get to the place where you can talk about these things, because you've gone through a lot of challenges in your life. But it's one of the things that I admire about you and respect you and that impresses the heck out of me about you, and I don't impress very easily, is nothing has stopped you. And you came to me and you were frustrated with your coach that you've been working with, like you said. And, even like you talked about that, income wise, it's like things were tight to say the least, and now you've got these brand new twin baby girls, right? And on top of that, it's like, okay, now all right, you need some help, and you knew you needed help, and you didn't make any excuses. You didn't, oh, well, money this or time this or poor me this, you know, you knew what you wanted and you were going after it and you were going to find a way to do it. And that's what I want people to see is like, we've all got our crosses to bear, and yeah, comparatively, some are definitely worse than others, but with the magnitude of responsibility that was upon you, nothing was going to stop you. And that impressed the heck out of me. So, and that there's no surprise. I knew when we started working together, I'm like, this woman's going to become something. We just got to give it time. And I remember talking to you about that in the beginning is like, you've got twin baby girls, you're grieving with a lot of things, and you're up against situational challenges in your life. We need to find the pace for this. So talk about the journey that we started to go on as we began our work together.
So when we started, like I said, I came to you with something. When I look back on it now, it was very basic. It was kind of, hey, can you help me coach people one-on-one so I can do this network marketing thing? And like, to look back at that now, it's just like, oh my gosh, was I really thinking that small? And you were actually the one that said, hey, let me suggest this to you. And you suggested, let's put this network marketing thing kind of, on the back burner. Let's focus on the people that you can help and the people that you can touch. And I didn't agree with you, but I said, I was like, okay, I hired him. I'm going to, and that really, really helped me to see that I did have something to offer. Because in my mind, I felt like my life was in so many shambles that LaTonya Porter couldn't be a brand on her own. And I needed to kind of hide behind this network marketing company. And you were the one that helped me to see, no, LaTonya Porter is absolutely a brand. Like, she's absolutely, a phenomenal person. She can do this if, she's willing to put the work in and the time in and commit to herself. She's absolutely capable. So, when we started there and kind of when I put that trust in you, I started to see things flourish. And as you gave me kind of step by step and I think maybe even one of the biggest things, because I know that you often talk about like your business, treat your business like a job. Like, you have to show up, you have to show up on time, you have to set, and I worried about that because that wasn't my lifestyle. I was a stay-at-home mom, you know, no kind of support. My boyfriend, he'd only been around for 2 months, but he was absolutely hands-on with the girls. So, losing him, both of my parents are deceased. So it wasn't like there was grandma and grandpa or anything like that. So my help was very limited. And I was like, I can't guarantee that I'll show up at 8 a.m. I can't guarantee that I'll show up at 10 a.m. Like, I can't guarantee anything. And the other thing that you were able to do was say, well, stop, give yourself some grace. You can still do this. It's just going to look different. And I needed that too. I almost like needed that permission for somebody to say, no, it's not going to be clean, but it can still get done. And that helped me to find even more confidence to move forward. So as you put these things in place, like, you were the one that gave me the idea about the Lunchish live show.
Yeah.
You talked about like, go live on Facebook, do something weekly. And I was like, I don't know when the girls are going to nap, and I don't know. And you was like, call it the Lunchish. Don't do it at the same time every week. Just make it fit your life. Like, you can do it. Just make it fit your life. And I probably wouldn't have thought of that because my brain it just felt so scattered. But you were able to put these things into place for me to make me realize, no, I can do this. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. I can make this happen. Like, we can make this happen. It's just like, so every step of the way. And as those doors opened up and my own confidence grew, I realized, wow, I can coach. I can write a book. And that's kind of where the book came from, because it was just, I think I can write a book.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped kind of push me forward and think bigger than just, I want to sell network marketing.
Yeah, and that's where I go back to is where you said that is like you're like, all right, well, I can just coach a few people and I'll do this network marketing thing. And like you said, it was just like, I remember before you even hired me when we had our, if you will, complimentary mentor coaching session, and you were telling me your story, and I'm just like over here, my eyes are welling up, they're watering. I'm just like, Jesus, look at you as a person and honor your journey and the strength that you have as a person. Like, I would have been a long time ago, and how you've persevered. And I'm like, this is so you. And we use that story and what you overcome, because that then becomes the message and inspires others. And it allows them, just your story alone allows you to come. And we'll get to the story in more detail with her book, and we talk about that in a second, because you share it in there. And that's what you said. And so you came from like hiding behind, like you said, this network marketing piece, to saying, you know what, I can be this brand, I can be this message. And until you were able to do that, you were playing it small. But then it was almost like when you started to do that, I could see this even brighter, even stronger woman starting to emerge. And that's when I was really starting to get excited, because I could see you starting to shine, because you were starting to own it. And one of the things I just want to highlight of what you said is that, like you said, with your twin baby girls, it's like, well, I was like, okay, we'll come up with a show, and we got to have a date and a time. And there's variables in your life that you couldn't just do it at noon, as an example. So we start to think out of that box. And I just want to highlight that for people, is that no matter what your circumstances are, you can figure it out. You can adapt in the moment. That's the beauty of what entrepreneurship is. So now we come into this spot of, so you're doing it was on Mondays, right? Is it still on Mondays?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Mondays at noonish. And she, emails people like that morning when it's going to be, based on when the girls are going to be sleeping, which obviously changes because they're getting older now.
Yes.
How we started when they were what? Just several months, right?
So they were actually, I think when we started, they weren't quite one yet.
Yeah.
So I think they were like turning one when I started with the live show.
Yeah.
And at that, they're going to be 2 in February.
Which is good. We get to see what can happen in a year's time frame.
Yes. And Tallest has made it a little more difficult. I will admit that. They're no longer, you can just put them in the bouncer and just kind of give them. So a little more rambunctious now. But I think that getting that permission to have grace with myself allows me to say, it's okay. Like the message is still the message. If you're inspired by it, you're inspired by it. It doesn't matter if it comes at noon. It doesn't matter if it comes at 2.
It doesn't matter if you're holding a baby or 2 babies in your arms.
Yes, because I think there was one where I had the baby. It was an actual live show where I had to hold the baby because she wouldn't go to sleep. So we did the show together, and it is what it is. But the message doesn't. And I think that what I had to realize is my story is my story, and anybody who is going to be touched by the story isn't going to care that I'm holding a baby during the live show. They're not going to care that, they heard a baby fussy in the background, because that's my life. And that's why they're connecting with me anyway. And I had to really understand that.
Yeah. I love how you're owning yourself. And I think that's part of the process that you went through is beginning to own who you are, own your story, own your present situation, no matter what it is.
Yes.
That's huge. So now let's get into the book, because this book is awesome. Like it's the most authentic book, or how about this? It's one of the most authentic books that I've read, because it's you, and you're just vulnerable in it, and you just share your story, and you're open. And that's what I feel someone reading this book is going to really connect with, is you own who you are, you share who you are, and then you take them through this journey, and you share what you've done and how you've overcome those obstacles, and it's inspiring. So, but the process of the book, like, let's talk about that, because I remember the call. We started talking about a book.
Yes, and I remember being nervous coming to you saying that I was ready or I wanted to write a book. Because I was excited about it, but I knew that I was going to take your professional opinion because you had been right about so many things. So if you said, don't write the book, I might be disappointed, but I was going to trust you. So I was a little nervous as to what you want to say. And when you gave me like the neon green light to write this book, you're like, no, I think you are ready. I was like, yes. Because at that point, we had done a lot of work with just me feeling more confident with my message, my branding, where I was going with my business. But also in grief counseling, we had kind of I'd hit this pivotal point with her, because yes, I was in grief counseling. However, we started to dive into some past traumas. We started to dive into my experience with domestic violence. We started to dive into my experience with sexual assault. So, we were in my first experience with sexual assault was at age 11. So then we had to go even further back and we dived into some child abuse. And at that point, it made me feel like my whole life was a lie, because anybody who's had the unfortunate, has had the unfortunate displeasure of dealing with those type of traumas early in life, they know that it changes how you think. It changes how you grow up. Your state of mind is altered because you think differently about yourself than what you really are. And what it did for my business was it made me think, how many women are like me? How many women are 40 years old, give or take, and they feel like their whole life has been a lie. It's been predicated on, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve much. I don't have much self-worth. I don't have any confidence. And it's been something that's been built over 10, 20, 30 years. And you're stuck. You don't know how to get out of that. And it was like, how many women are like me? That's who I want to help. That's who I want to touch. And I said, I need to write this book because I want to share the message that you're never stuck and you're always worth more than, what life dictated. And I also wanted to share, this is why I'm saying this. I'm not saying this from a place of maybe I went to school and got a fancy degree in psychology and my books tell me this. I'm telling you this because it was me. It was me who went through these traumas and this abuse, and and it's me who has now decided that I'm going to reclaim my life, and I want to bring you on that journey with me. So that's how, that whole process kind of shaped and formed into my business. And I said, I need to put this on paper and I need to share this with someone.
And you put this on paper quickly. Because I would tell you, like, I remember we had a few sessions, we were kind of going over the structure and the ideas and the titling and just, some how to extrapolate it out and almost like a plan to start writing it. And I can't remember all the details of it, but I just remember like you getting on a call and be like, yeah, I'm like almost done. And I'm like, what? what are you even talking about? Like, am I talking to the same person? Not that you couldn't accomplish things, but we had to find your pace with everything we did because of everything you're dealing with, and just the fact that you were a single mom of two baby girls. You know what I mean? But it's like you turn on like some type of warp drive, like you got in some kind of serious zone when you were writing this book. Talk about that process of how you were able to extract that from yourself.
So I'm typically a very analytical person. So when I started, like I said, I came to you and I, should I even think about writing this book? And when I got the green light, you and I talked about it. I started Googling stuff. I started researching stuff, and I would come back to you and I say, I looked this up and I looked this up, and what do you think? But honestly, once I started putting quote unquote pen to paper, things just started to flow. I became more confident in what it was I wanted to do, what my message was, who I wanted to help. And when that happened, it flowed. It just came out. Because initially I think I said, oh, I want to do a chapter a month. I don't want to overwhelm myself. So if the book has, I think it has 6 chapters without the stories that are in between, because there's a life event of mine in between each chapter. So it has 6 chapters. So 6 months it should have been. And this book was done in 2 months because it just happened. And I was exhausted. I will admit I was exhausted because, we get up in the morning, hit the ground running, twins all day, and then at night they would go to sleep and I would have to clean up all the mess. And I said, okay, I'm going to do some writing. But once I sat down to write, I couldn't stop. There was truly this fiery passion that just kind of kept me going. And I knew I was going to be tired when I got up in the morning, but I couldn't stop. And I said, if I'm going to do it, let me just go ahead and do it and not hold myself back. If I can crank this out, I'm going to crank it. There were some nights that I didn't write, but even still with those nights that I decided not to burn myself out, I still got it done in 2 months. And it did start out with, research, make sure I know what I want to talk about. I did an outline for the book and everything, but once I trusted that the guidance I was getting from myself, from you, from the universe, it was sending me in the right direction. It just made things so much easier.
Yeah. I keep hearing the recurring theme of trust. Like you surrendered to your analytical mind in a lot of ways. And you began to trust the process, yourself, myself, the universe, like you said, and you allowed it to come out. You allowed it to come out. I remember even just, the live show when you started your own live show, which is now a podcast, correct?
Yes.
Um, um, but even that, it was just like, you're going to get on doing a live video, and the way you was like, oh my God. And you weren't going to stop and not do it because you trusted me and you trusted what you needed to get done. You did it. But, and as I listen to you and watch you now, and I'm just like, this is a woman. This is a strong, proud, confident, well-spoken woman who has a clear, confident message of where she's going, who she's helping, how she's helping them. It's like, that's so exciting to me. Talk about, because this is your book, Your Queendom Awaits. Let me make sure I get this in here, right? How to let challenges and traumas guide you to triumph. So talk about your branding. I'm going to bring up your website because I'm going to put it on the screen in a second, but it says helping middle-aged women find vibrance, passion, and purpose in the aftermath of life's challenges. So talk about your website, talk about your branding, because that's you. That's what you're doing.
So, like I was saying, the kind of that process for going through grief counseling, I will admit that. So when I came to you, I was hiding behind kind of the network marketing, and the network marketing company dealt with health and wellness and fitness. And that became my story. I was overweight. I lost weight, and I'm going to help you lose weight. And it was this pseudo story because there was such a larger story behind what my life actually was, and kind of getting some confidence with you on the business side and going through that intensive healing that I needed to with the traumas, the PTSD and everything. I realized I needed to embrace my story. I needed to not be embarrassed by it anymore. I needed to not want to hold it in and feel like it doesn't need to be shared and feel like it's something I have to be ashamed of. And that's common. I mean, it's common for somebody who's dealt with domestic violence and sexual assault to be ashamed of it. Like it's completely normal. But I realized that I didn't want that to be my life anymore. And when I accepted that and when I embraced it and I accepted that there are other women out there who are probably like me, I said, this needs to be my message. This needs to be what I share. So, helping middle-aged women find vibrance, find energy, not be depressed, not feel like they have to hold everything in and just drain themselves by not being able to share their life, their experiences, the beauty that they have within, passion. What do you want? Stop hiding in fear. Stop, hiding in shame. What do you want? Because you deserve it. That's why it's in your heart. So that passion and that purpose, what are you going to do with that passion? All that energy and that passion you have now let's give it a purpose. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with everything that you've been through? And because that's kind of where I am now, the energy, the passion, and the purpose. I find energy in helping people. I'm passionate about, enriching lives and empowering women. And that's now my purpose. And I'm using everything that I went through, life's challenges, to do those three things. So that became kind of that branding. Our royal community talks to queens. It talks to women who, regardless of what our struggles are, regardless of what we've been through, we are going to take that and build something so amazing. So instead of hiding from what your story is, use it and build upon it, because it's going to have this stronger foundation than what it was going to have with you kind of setting it to the side and pretending it didn't exist.
Wow, it's refreshing to hear you talk about this now because, when we're starting this up and you're starting your weekly events and you're speaking and then your emails to your community as well, you had your message, but it was starting to come out. And now as I'm hearing it, it's so well put together. Like I said, the confidence that you're speaking it with. Talk real quick about the value of doing your weekly emails and the weekly live event, which, like I said, is now a podcast.
Yeah.
Talk about how that helped you come to your message, strengthen your message, form your message, compared to like when you started off to where you are now?
So when I started kind of the live shows and the weekly emails, I was delivering a very stifled message, and I'll be the first to admit that it was just this very, "Hey, are you going through some struggles? I can coach you." It just, and I wasn't getting much of a response, um, and that's when kind of you were embrace your story. Hey, people want to hear, like nobody wants to hear my story. When I finally opened up and decided the reason that the live show ended up becoming a podcast was because it became harder to do the video live show. I can record a podcast whenever. So I said, I still want to do this. I still want to reach people. I still want to get out there. So it became a podcast. But even that was kind of grounded in, I know what my message is now. And now that I know what my message is and it's not stifled, people trust me. So I'm being vulnerable. Here I am. Here's all of me. And people are like, oh, wow, that's you. We need to talk about that. I want to talk to you and I want to connect with you. And then that helps me to know what they want and what my audience needs from me. So then I can put out better content, and then I get more qualified people that come to me and say, no, this is what I need. And I'm like, yes, you're the person I'm trying to help. Let's talk. So when people email me back, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what a story. Or, oh my God, because my weekly emails, it's me, it's stories. This is what happened to me. And this is what I'm going through. This is what happened yesterday, because the challenges aren't over. They don't stop. So, it's like, this is where I am. And, those people connect with, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you went through that. Or, oh my gosh, I went through something like that too. Or, oh my gosh, what do you think about this? And it's true connections. And I'm just like, that's what I wanted. Like, yay. Feel like I've arrived with, you get the messages. I listen to your podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, just those type of things. So that feedback is two-way. It helps everybody. I feel like.
Yeah. That's great. So I have the website up there, ourroyalcommunity.com, for people to check out. And when you go to the website, you can learn all about LaTonya. She's got her free offer there as well. You got a great free ebook as well.
Yes. Stay Reigning, how to turn a messy past into a masterpiece.
So see, I love your branding, by the way, because I've seen it evolve, and especially with the Royal Community, with the book and everything. It just ties in really well with your coloring and just who you are as a person as well. But definitely check that out. You can get a copy of our book right from your website as well, correct?
Yes.
And then also you can get you can listen to our podcast there. So I definitely urge you to check that out. And as we start to wrap this up, LaTonya, talk to me, and you've said a lot already, really, but talk to me about the value that mentor coaching has brought to you to get you to the place where you're at now.
Oh gosh, mentor coaching, it was just it was priceless. Honestly, because it really helped me through every stage. So like I said, when I came to you, I was a hot mess, in shambles, and you kind of helped me to take those pieces and say, okay, we're going to put this piece here and this piece here, which was something that clearly I couldn't do. My mind was too fried. And even when, we're like, okay, I see a vision. You were able to say, good, you see a vision. Now let's take this vision to the next level. So it was just this constant, next level, things that I knew I couldn't have done and I probably wouldn't have been able to do on my own. It truly was invaluable. It gave me confidence. It gave me vision. It's the reason that I'm able to take what I've been through and turn it into something that I'm passionate and extremely proud of.
And I'll say this, LaTonya, and I've said a little bit already too, but how proud I am of you, how impressed I am with you, and to see you on your journey, to see you mature as a woman, to see you mature as a business person, which I don't think you would have ever called yourself a business person before this. But you're a businesswoman, like you're a respectable businesswoman. You've got your stuff together, like your branding, your book, your everything. I'm really proud of you, and I can only imagine where you're gonna go with this journey, and I'm here for whatever you need, because it's exciting.